Thank you for joining me. I was at Michael's the other day and they had these Caron Big Cakes on sale for $7, and I selected the Blueberry Torte. I'm not sure if you can see that. And I picked up 2 of them. They're 10.5 ounces each, and I really didn't know what I was going to do with them, but since they were on sale, I went ahead and got 2 of them. Then I decided that I would make my version of the cocoon using this. Now, there's a lot of great patterns out there that take full advantage of this striping yarn. Gorgeous, gorgeous patterns that take full advantage. But this is not going to be one of those patterns. I'm using my version of the cocoon, and it's made up of connected squares, and what I'm going to do is just make it like I would if I were using just regular solid yarn, and whatever happens happens. I'm just going to let it do its natural thing and its striping and take each square as it comes. Now the problem I have at this point is that just the body of my cocoon takes 21 ounces of yarn, which is exactly what I have. So I'm going to end up needing a different color to make the trim on the cocoon. And I think what I'll do is go ahead and make this and then decide what color I want the trim to be. So for this, you're going to need worsted weight yarn, and I am using an eye crochet hook. And of course we will need a yarn needle to weave in our ends and a pair of scissors, and I think that's it. Alright, before we get started, my cocoon is going to be 6 squares wide by 6 squares long to make that square for the cocoon, but you make as many squares as you need to make it the size that you want. So let's start out by chaining 5. And now we're going to work in the very first chain, the one that's furthest from the hook. And these remaining chains are going to act as our very first double crochet chain 1. So let's double crochet chain 1 into this very first chain until we have 8 double crochets and 8 chain 1s all the way around. Okay, now we have 8 double crochet and 8 chain 1. So now we're going to slip stitch in the 3rd chain of that beginning chain that we made to join. Now let's slip stitch into this first chain 1 space, chain 3, which is going to act as our first double crochet, double crochet, chain 1, and 2 double crochet, all in this first chain 1 space. It's kind of like a granny square, very much like a granny square. Now chain 1 and double crochet in the next chain 1 space. We're only working in the chain 1 spaces. Chain 1, work 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet in the next, chain 1, double crochet in the next, all the way around. Alright, I have worked my way around. Now I'm just going to slip stitch in the top of this chain 3 that we started with. I'm going to slip stitch into the next double crochet and slip stitch into that first chain 1 space. Chain 3, work another double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, all in the same first chain 1 space. Now we're going to chain 2, double crochet in this next chain 1 space, chain 2, double crochet in the next chain 1 space, chain 2, and in the corners we're going to work 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and we're going to work this pattern all the way around, and this is really our pattern for most of this square. Let's go ahead and work your way around. We'll meet back. Alright, now I'm all the way around. Going to slip stitch into the top of this chain 3 to join, and then slip stitch into the next double crochet and slip stitch into this chain 2 space. And that's what we're going to do throughout the whole thing. We're going to work 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in each corner, chain 2, double crochet in each chain 2 space here, and we're going to do this twice more. And I don't even count my rows. It's just that I know when I have 4 double crochets along here, I'm done. So go ahead and do 2 more rows just like we did before, and I'll meet you back. Okay, I have worked 2 more rows, or 2 more rounds, and we have 4 double crochet on each side of our square. So that's how you know you're done, or it's row 5. So now let's slip stitch into this first chain 2 space in our corner, chain 3, work 2 more double crochet, chain 4, and 3 more double crochet, all in this corner chain 2 space. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we're not going to work any chains in between, so now we're just going to single crochet in the next chain 2 space. In the next chain 2 space, we're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 2, and 3 double crochet. Single crochet in the next chain 2 space, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in this next chain 2 space. Single crochet in the next chain 2 space, and in the corner we're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 4, 3 double crochet, and then just repeat this series all the way around. That's what's great about this project, is once you've made one square, you really don't need the pattern anymore, so you can just quickly go through and get all your squares made. So go ahead and finish that up, and then when you're done with this one, you're going to slip stitch to join at the top of this chain 3 and fasten off. Then make another square exactly like this, but stop at row 5, and I'll join you back at that point. Okay, here is my first square completed, and my second square I have worked the first 5 rounds. Now we're going to slip stitch. I have slip stitch to join. Now I'm going to slip stitch into this double crochet and into this chain 2 space of the corner, chain 3, work 2 double crochet, chain 4. Now let's bring in this first square. We're going to insert our hook into the corner, chain 4 space, grab the yarn, and complete a slip stitch. Now chain 4, and working back in this second square, we're going to go ahead and complete the other 3 double crochet for this corner. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to single crochet, and we're not connecting with the single crochets, so just single crochet into the square. Now work 3 double crochet into this next chain 2 space. Chain 2. Insert your hook into the chain 2 space of our next shell. Bring the yarn through, complete a slip stitch, chain 2. Now let's finish these 3 double crochet into the same chain 2 space. Single crochet into this next chain 2 space, 3 double crochet in this next chain 2 space, chain 2, slip stitch into this next shell in the center, chain 2, complete the 3 double crochet into this chain 2 space. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Single crochet in that next chain 2 space. And in this corner, let's work 3 double crochet. Sorry about that. There's a spider on me. Chain 4. Now we're going to connect into this corner. Chain 4, and let's complete these last 3 double crochets for this corner. Okay, so now we're connected, and for the rest of the square we're just going to complete it just like we did on this one. So now we're going to single crochet in this chain 2 space, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, single crochet, and then in all of the corners it's going to be 3 double crochet, chain 4, 3 double crochet. So work that all the way around and slip stitch to join. Now that's how we're going to connect for this whole row. Now I'm doing 6. So you decide how many you want to do. Get your row completely done, and then we'll come back. Okay, I have my first row of 6 connected squares. Now I'm going to work on the second row. I have a square ready. So I'm going to chain 3, 2 double crochet, chain 4, and now this time instead of connecting on the sides, we're going to connect the top of this square to the bottom of this square. And we're going to do it exactly the same way that we did the rest. So we're going to slip stitch into that chain 4, chain 4, finish our 3 double crochet here, and then go ahead and finish your connection. Once you get this corner connected, then you're just going to work this like you would the other squares with no connection, and then I'll meet you back. Okay, I have my first square of my second row connected and completed. Now each time you start a new row, you will start it just like this one. So I have my next square ready to connect. So we're going to chain 3, work 2 double crochet, chain 4. Now the way we're going to connect this one and all the rest of them on the row is we're going to start our connection down here. We're going to connect here, 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 and here. And then once we slip stitch in here, we're going to slip stitch in this next square up here without any chains in between. And then connect here, here, and here. And then finish the square. Okay, this is where I am. I was afraid I didn't explain it well enough. But this is my second square, and I'm attached along here. Now we're coming to this corner. So I'm going to slip stitch. I have chain 4. I'm going to slip stitch into the chain 4 of this square that's beside it. Now I need to work along this second square, so I'm going to slip stitch into the corner of that square. Now I'm going to chain 4, and I'm going to complete these 3 double crochet in this corner. So that is how we're going to do these corners. And when I originally designed this square and these connections, it was the fact that this gives me a kind of a pretty shape that I liked it so much. That's one of the reasons why we're doing the 4 chains in between. Okay, so that's how you do that. And now each and every row hereafter, and I'm going to do 6 of them, will be done. Your very first square will be done just like this one, where you just have a connection at the top. And every square thereafter, you will have the connection on the side and the connection on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up my other 6 rows, and then we will come back for a border. Okay, I have finished the body of my cocoon. 6 rows across, 6 rows down, and I know this just looks like a big jumble of nothing to you, but that's okay because I will take pictures and you can actually see what it looks like. So now we're going to move on to our border, and I selected this medium purple that was in my stash, Red Heart Super Saver. I got this at the Amish store. So select what color that you want for your border, unless you bought enough that you could make the border out of the same yarn, which would be nice too. And just pick a corner, any corner, and I'm going to attach my yarn just by tying it into a knot. And now we're going to double crochet around the cocoon. So I'm going to chain 3, and I'm going to work 3 double crochets in my outer corners, and then we're just going to double crochet in these next 3 double crochets. Now I'm just going to do this 1 double crochet round all the way around my cocoon, but you can put on as many as you want. You can make as many rows as you want. Now I'm going to double crochet into this single crochet. I'm going to double crochet into these next 3 double crochet. I'm going to work 1 double crochet in that chain 2 space, and I worked over my tail, and now I'm going to work 1 double crochet in each of these 3 double crochet. One double crochet in this single, 1 double crochet in these 3 double crochets. I'm trying to get you to the point where the squares meet so we can do that together, and then I'll let you go to finish up. 1 double crochet in this chain 2 space, 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 double crochet, and I realize that it is making a wavy edge, but that's not going to matter when we're done. So double crochet in this single, double crochet in these next 3 double crochet, I think that went between the double crochets. Okay, what is my issue? Okay, that's a join. That's my issue. Alright, back on track. And now that we're at the join, I'm going to do 2 double crochet in this first chain 4 space. And then right here, so it's kind of like the side of our slip stitch, I'm going to make a double crochet in that space, 2, so go ahead and do that all the way around and we'll meet back. Okay, I have finished my double crochet all the way around. Now, if you made your cocoon a solid color, just fold it in half, it doesn't matter. But if you did something like this, decide what you want your back to look like, or your sleeves or whatever, and fold accordingly. And mine is folded wrong sides out. I have my yarn needle ready to go. And I'm going to start at this corner and put my needle through. Now you don't have to stitch this. You could slip stitch it, you could double crochet, single crochet it together, whatever you want to do. And what we're going to do is we're going to sew this side up. Goodness. I have a lot of yarn on my needle. Okay, so I'm just going to attach this by tying a knot. And now we're going to simply whip stitch this all the way up. Until we are 7 inches, or approximately 7 inches from the top, and that's where we're going to stop, and this is going to be our armhole. I'm going to work my way to this square and stop there, and you know, it doesn't have to be 7 inches, however big you want your armhole to be. Don't think I will go any smaller, but you can definitely make it larger if you want. So stitch up one side, then stitch up the other side, and we will come back. Okay, I have my sides sewn up. Here is my armhole. So now we're going to work on this trim at the bottom of our cocoon, and just attach your yarn anywhere. It doesn't make any difference. So we're going to attach with a knot. Is this the right yarn? Yeah, okay, so attach with a knot. And now all we're going to do is chain 3 and double crochet in every double crochet around. Okay, I have double crocheted all the way around. Now I'm back where I started. So let's slip stitch in the 3rd chain of this original chain 3 we started with. Now we're going to take our hook, go around this chain, chain 3, and essentially that's a front post. So now let's work a back post double crochet, a front post double crochet, a back post double crochet, and just do that all the way around. Okay, I have made my way around. So now I'm going to slip stitch in the top of this chain 3 that we started with. Now you could stop here if that border is big enough for you, but I'm going to work another round like this. So I am going to come up around this chain, chain 3, and I'm going to back loop in the back loops and front loop in the front loops. Then I'll meet you back. Okay, I have made my way around. Now I'm just going to slip stitch in the top of this chain 3 to join. And now chain 1, and we're going to work the reverse single crochet. I think it's also referred to as the crab stitch, but essentially we're going to work around the right. So starting in this first stitch, complete a single crochet, okay. It's awkward, especially if you haven't done it a few times before. If this is your first time, it feels extremely awkward, but the results are really nice. And once you get going, it's not really too bad. So this is what we get. This effect that goes around our cocoon. So go ahead and reverse single crochet all the way around. When you get to the beginning, slip stitch to join and then fasten off. Okay, I have reverse single crochet all the way around, and we have this lovely wavy edging and the pretty edging from the reverse single crochet. So now we need to address our sleeves, and just attach your yarn and repeat the same thing that we did on the body of the cocoon. Let's go ahead and get that done. Alright, here are my 2 sleeves done, and the trim took a lot of yarn, and this is a 7-ounce skein, so just to be safe, I'm going to say that you need 28 ounces of yarn for this project. So make sure you get plenty. And I know you can't see it, but I wanted to point out that this is my second skein. I made three rows of squares with the first skein, and then continued on and made the next row of squares with the other skein. So that's this one. Now, as you can see here, even though it's the same yarn, it's very different in the way that the color changes and the striping occurs. It's quite different. So keep that in mind if you want to make one with using this yarn. Now, as with really all of my designs, they started out something different and then got transferred into other projects. And when I originally designed this connected square pattern, it was for a bedspread, and it is absolutely gorgeous as a bedspread. You just make enough squares across and enough squares up to cover your bed. And the good thing about it is, once you are finished making your rows, you're finished. You don't need a border really. It has this fancy shell type border around it already, so you don't have to do anything extra. And if you weave in your ends, every square that you make, you are definitely done when you get your bedspread as big as you want it. So obviously you're not going to be able to see very well, but it of course opens this way. Now, if you don't want to connect your squares as you go, or if you don't want to lose complete control on what color sets next to what color, if you're going to make it with a striping yarn, you know, technically you could make all your squares, put them in the order that you want, and then just stitch them where you would have slip stitched them. Of course, that does defeat the purpose of a connected square, but if that's what you want to do, that'll work. And I really love, I know I'm strange, but I really love this and the randomness of it and how it came out. And it makes me curious about, what if we used a big cake to make the traditional big big granny square cocoon using plum pudding. I really liked that when I was there. The plum pudding is really pretty. So if I ever get to another Michael's, because I do live quite a long ways away, I'll pick some up and we'll make it in the traditional granny square style and see how that comes out. So I am going to see if I can find someone to model this for me, get some pictures for you so you can get a better idea of exactly how this looks. Now, it looks involved, it looks a lot to it, but trust me, it works up very, very quickly. So you have time to make them as gifts if you need to, or if you want to. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching.